Welcome to Breakfast Show. You are with me, Bill Clinton Odhiambo, once again standing in for Alan Herbert, and my sign language interpreter is Gideon Maina. Welcome to today's broadcast. It is a chilly morning, 20th of August, but then again, I'm here to take you through our stories making headlines for today, and also we're going to take a look at the dailies before we switch stands later on to look at stories making headline on matters sports. So be sure to check in with us. Our channels of communication are officially open. 0111 980384 is our SMS and WhatsApp line. Remember to communicate to us also through our socials at Science TV Kenya, and we'll be sure to sample some of your feedback. Now let's quickly start with our stories making headlines this morning. And story number one is concerning President William Ruto has established an 11-member multi-agency team to coordinate the war against corruption. The president says the move is part of a broader effort to reinforce the war against corruption as a whole of government initiative. Independent offices such as the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission will now be required to nominate representatives to the team, which will be headed by an official from the executive office of the president. Now let's take a look at that particular news item. All right, moving forward, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, has launched investigations into members of parliament accused of demanding bribes. This comes after President William Ruto warned that lawmakers have turned parliament into a marketplace for extortion. EACC chairperson David Oginde says the commission is already tracking several legislatures implicated, warning that no one will be spared once evidence is gathered. Take a look.
Who may have been hiding behind politics, behind patronage, would then have nowhere to hide when we go for them.
So if he has evidence, we hope that
issues, I think I already mentioned that clearly, that we should desist from enlisting our family members in corrupt deeds. And you gave examples of some of the individuals that we're investigating, in particular Honorable Paranya and Mwangi wa Iria. At the stage where these investigations were, our role and responsibility was that at the appointment stage, the Parliament, that is the vetting authority, would write to us requesting if we have any information on these particular individuals. And our role is to provide the information that we have without passing judgment, because we are not the ones who will declare a person innocent or guilty. But we get the information and we say, on this particular person, we have these cases that we are pursuing, we are investigating, they are at this stage, and that vetting body then makes the decision in light of many other circumstances. So if they decide that this person is okay, can serve the country, it is their role and responsibility. If they take our word seriously and they feel that this person should not serve, that is their role, but ours is to provide that information. We cannot tell Parliament to refuse to appoint a person just on the basis of the information we have, because that determination, as CEO has said, will be made by the courts when that case goes on. And just to let you know that the fact that a person has been appointed into a public office does not kill the case that we have. So those cases are still alive. They have not been withdrawn. They have not been dropped. And at appropriate times, they will still come and follow the individual. So people cannot hide behind politics or behind public appointments to run away from responsibility of the things that they have.
All right, moving on forward, members of parliament who have come under sharp criticism from the executive over alleged extortion claims have hit back, demanding that House speakers summon President William Ruto to provide evidence over the allegations. The MPs who held a session in the National Assembly to discuss the president's sentiments say it will not be business as usual with the executive going forward. The legislators fought back even as National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula admitted receiving complaints against some of the MPs' conduct. Let's take a look.
ODM Parliamentary Group meeting held yesterday, 18th August 2025, that was presided over by His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, and the former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. At the meeting, a statement was made to the effect that the consideration and passage of the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill 2025 was influenced by a Kenya shillings 10 million inducement collected by a member of parliament or members of parliament allegedly on behalf of members of the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws Amendment Bill 2025 was a bill sponsored by the leader of Majority Party. It was read for the first time in the House on the 4th of March 2025 and thereafter committed to the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs for consideration and reporting to the House. The committee duly conducted public participation, considered the bill, and tabled a report in the House to inform the House's second reading of the bill. The bill sought to amend 10 acts of parliament to address technical compliance deficiencies identified by the Eastern and Southern Africa Anti-Money Laundering Group, the Financial Action Task Force, in Kenya's regime on anti-money laundering, combating of terrorism, financing, and the combating of proliferation of financing. The record of the House reflects that after exhaustive debate, the bill and the amendments proposed by the committee were wholly supported, leading to its passage on Wednesday, 16th April 2025, with amendments. Following its referral by the President with reservations on the term of the office of the Director General of the Financial Reporting Center, the bill was passed by the National Assembly on Tuesday, 3rd June 2025, with amendments fully accommodating the President's reservations. On behalf of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, I wish to categorically state that the committee did not solicit and did not receive any inducement of any kind whatsoever from any member or quarter in its consideration of the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorism Financing Laws, Bill 2025.
All right, moving on forward. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has cautioned DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua against disrupting peace in Nairobi on Thursday when he is expected back from the United States. Murkomen, who says security agencies are on high alert has warned that the former deputy president could be arrested, citing intelligence reports indicating planned chaos on the day of his return. Let's take a look.
Last time he was around, and there were so many goons in the same of protests, we were very prepared. And every other minute, the National Police Service is prepared to protect citizens and their property. We, of course, are aware of those elements of threatening disruptions, threatening football, threatening all these other issues. I need to say that we will take legal action. The security agencies should be prepared for a more chaotic environment as a result of his coming back to the country. Let me say that the security sector is prepared to deal with any insecurity issue.
We had for you stories making headlines at the dailies, and the headlines making on our newspapers this morning. From the Daily Nation, MP's bribery scandal crisis. All right, this is now tied to the current Presidential Riot Act that he read against the MPs, citing allegation of corruption and mass corruption, should I say. And we've just read before that the EACC are now taking interest on these particular allegations. And these, we're really interested to see how this will pan out. But on the Daily Nation, we have, it is segmented from the crackdown where this started off, where the president forms a multi-agency team on war against corruption. And now, on the sabotage side, we have furious MPs who crippled house business, who crippled the house business and paralyzed committees in show of defiance, where they have called out the president, asking him to come out and face them head on, and put this to bed and literally set out who and who without clearly putting out a blanket on all of the all the MPs or all the members of the parliament. And now the backlash comes in where lawmakers threaten speakers with no confidence votes to force them to act on this particular matter. And now on the prosecution side, it further says there are rising calls for president to submit evidence to charge rogue MPs. Now this is after the MPs now are claiming this is sabotage, and they are calling the House speakers, Moses Wetangula, to invite the president on the floor of the House to come out and clearly submit the evidence to charge the rogue MPs. And it goes on to say on the retaliation part that MPs vow to exercise their power on budget cuts to hit back at executive. So this is clearly a tug of war, and we're interested to see how this will pan out. Remember, after the president and the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga reading the Riot Act on the members of parliament, they have also hit back, and now it is a series of what is seemingly looking like a tug of war between the executive and the legislative part of the government. Now moving on forward, we have the senators vote on trial of Kericho governor, and this comes on just 10 months after the Senate abruptly terminated impeachment proceedings against the Kericho governor on a technicality, and the Kericho governor Eric Mutai will again face senators today when graft charges are brought against him by the county assembly and read out to the House. Kericho MCAs for the second time voted to impeach the county boss on August 15th. And you can get that story, more on that story on page 7 of the Daily Nation. And on judiciary matters, or matters judiciary, DCJ, Deputy Chief Justice Mwilu, cleared of misconduct charge in Gachagua ouster case. Now, the Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu had been accused of usurping powers reserved for the Chief Justice in assigning judges to hear the case challenging the impeachment of then Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. You can get more on that on page 2 of the Daily Nation. Now, switching stances to the Standard, where it is a bold statement on who is more corrupt. Is it the executive or is it the legislature? And it goes on to read that Ruto's tirade against MPs has been branded as sheer hypocrisy. The executive wrote dwarfs the spec in Parliament, from dodgy tenders at KEMSA to substandard fertilizer crippling farmers to hush-hush oil import deals. The scandals trail his administration like a shadow. Even his allies' handouts at churches and stadiums, cloaked as generosity, reek of patronage politics. For many Kenyans, the president has squandered the chance to make corruption a high-risk venture as promised. Instead, his finger-pointing has exposed a government gorging on the vice it condemns, which is corruption. And all this time being urged on by his bosom friend, Raila Odinga. Now you can get this exclusive story on pages 6 and 7 of the Standard, and that is just a brief look on what the dailies are looking like, and that is on the Standard and the Daily Nation. But then again, you have to take another breather, and also when we get back, we're going to look at what is making headlines on matters of sports, both local and international. So stay tuned with us at the world of sports. Kenya is set to host Gambia and Seychelles in crucial World Cup qualifiers right here in Nairobi. Kenya's national football team, the Harambee Stars, will play their next round of 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers on home soil after FIFA confirmed 2 fixtures will be staged in Nairobi next month. The Stars are scheduled to face the Gambia on September 5th before meeting Seychelles on September 9th, with the both matches to be held at the Moi International Sports Center here in Kasarani. This announcement comes as a boost to the team, which has not played on home soil in the World Cup qualifiers in several years due to past stadium compliance issues. The return of such high-profile games to Kasarani is seen as a moral lift for both the players and the crucial and the local fans eager to rally behind the national side. Now that is a really important information there, and it is a massive boost to the national team and also the local fans. Now moving on to other local news, the Michael Olunga Football Academy, MOFA, has launched a nationwide under-16 soccer national trial initiative to uncover Kenya's next generational football talent. The trials, which are taking place across the various counties, were highlighted during the Kisumu stage by MOFA Technical Director Aol Omondi, who emphasized their role in nurturing players to meet global football standards. According to Omondi, the Academy's former reliance on school competitions was inefficient and limited in reach. These trials, focused on grade 8, grade 9, and Form 2 learners, are designed to broaden scouting access and expose young athletes to global football requirements. Now, this is a good initiative courtesy of the Michael Olunga Foundation Academy, MOFA, launching the national-wide under-16 soccer trials. And now on to more international news. Chelsea are closing in on Garnacho winger as the Argentinian rejects a Bayern Munich approach. Now Chelsea are edging closer to completing a sensational signing of Manchester United winger Alejandro Garnacho, with talks between the two Premier League sides advancing more quickly than expected. The 21-year-old Argentine has made it clear that he only wants a move to Stamford Bridge, rejecting an approach from Bayern Munich in the past 48 hours. Garnacho is understood to have told Manchester United that if a deal is not struck with Chelsea this summer, he would rather remain out of Ruben Amorim's squad until the January window to move elsewhere to another club. Now, negotiations are continuing between the two clubs, with Manchester United initially valuing Garnacho at around 15 million euros. Now, it has been a tough transfer season for the Argentine winner Alejandro Garnacho. Ever since Ruben Amorim, Manchester United manager and coach, told the likes of Alejandro Garnacho, the likes of Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, that they were no longer part of the squad, and now they had to look for another place to call home. Now, in another twist of football tales, we have the RB Leipzig team. They have step-up talks with Chelsea over return of Christopher Nkunku. Now, RB Leipzig are intensifying discussions with Chelsea over a permanent deal for forward Christopher Nkunku, who is open to the possibility of rejoining his former side. The Frenchman, who left Leipzig for Chelsea back in 2023, is understood to prefer a permanent transfer rather than a loan, with both player and club keen on clarity over his future. Now, informal talks between Leipzig and Chelsea have taken place and have also included discussions around Xavi Simons, who is admired by the Premier League side, that is Chelsea. Now, Bayern Munich, who have held negotiations with Chelsea over Christopher Nkunku, will as well, but progress has been slow due to the presence of a permanent move. Now, sources have indicated while RB Leipzig are exploring the deal, an agreement is not close and alternative options for the forward remain under consideration. And finally, good news coming in from Premier League side Aston Villa. Morgan Rogers wins the PFA Young Player of the Year award. Now, Aston Villa forward Morgan Rogers has been named the men's PFA Young Player of the Year after a standout 2024-2025 season. The 22-year-old was a key figure in Aston Villa's side, starting all but one Premier League match, scoring 8 goals and providing 10 assists as Villa secured a strong league campaign. Rogers becomes the 5th Aston Villa player to claim the honor, joining former winners Andy Gray in 1996-1997 season, Gary Shaw in the 1980-1981 season, Ashley Young the 2008-2009 season, and James Milner the 2009 and 2010 season. The award recognizes his rapid rise since joining the club, cementing his place among the league's brightest young stars or young talents. A massive congratulations to Morgan Rogers for that particular recognition. And ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our breakfast show this morning. I very much thank you for staying tuned with us. I've been your host, Bill Clinton Odhiambo, with my sign language interpreter, Gideon Maina. A massive thank you to also the production team for making this possible. Be sure to catch up with us tomorrow morning as we bring you exclusive stories as well, making headlines, as far as other more sports stories, of course, making headlines as well. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. Be sure to have a good day and see you next time. Have a good day. Thank you.